morning. Who do you think should be the next king? Now, the royal family, you may have seen, are all over the papers today. And it's not just about the Queen missing an event at St Paul's Cathedral because of a mild cold. It's all about Prince William's impressive trip to Israel and the Palestinian territories. Now, he's the first British royal to do that trip, and it appears to have been a huge success. So, at a time when Her Majesty is having to pull out of a ceremony at St Paul's Cathedral, her grandson is definitely proving his mettle when it comes to royal duties. But where's Charles? Where's Prince Charles? Even yesterday, it was the Duke of Kent who stood in for the Queen. Prince Charles, well, he may well be very busy doing something else, but he is noticeably absent in the current press coverage. We've had mixed views already this morning.
I personally would love to see it go straight to William. To be quite honest, I wouldn't like to see Queen Camilla on the throne with Charles. I don't know what it is about him, but he doesn't give me that impression that he's quite up to it. The fault of Queen Camilla fills me with horror, really.
I definitely think Prince Charles. It really annoys me because he's older. They're an older couple and they don't get the publicity that the younger royals get, that he and Camilla are always on trips. I think it's dreadful the way he never, ever gets any publicity unless he's wearing a silly hat or something else.
Well, listen, we've already had someone come on and reveal that they work for a hairdressers and used to cut Princess Margaret's hair. So anything can happen in the next half hour. Who do you think should be the next king? You can call me 08081 00 8800, or of course text us 81333, and as ever you can email us here at the JVS show at bbc.co.uk. The Queen, 92, 9 engagements in 10 days. I think anyone, no matter whether you're 92 or not, would find that schedule quite hard going. But where was Charles? Well, Grant Harold is a former royal butler, I believe, and author of the Royal Butler's Rulebook. Welcome, Grant. How are you?
Good morning, Sam. Very well. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much. Yeah, well, you're a man with some inside knowledge then, aren't you, really?
I think this is what, I find frustrating. I understand that when people think you don't see the royals, that must mean that they're hibernating or, they've gone overseas to kind of go on a holiday. But it's not the case at all. I mean, working for them and being with them, it's almost a 7-day-a-week job, even when they're in Scotland on the kind of annual holidays, everyone calls it. They're still working. And I think that's what's difficult is, obviously, those of us that work for them or people that visit them, they kind of know this. So when you don't hear about him in the news, the chances are that he's having private audiences, meetings, doing things for the community. But we don't see any of that.
And I understand that, and we've heard that this morning from other people, but you also have to admit that at some point, whether there has been or is current discussions going on, that, as we've heard this morning, opinion is divided over Prince Charles. So surely, whether it's the royal family or the government decides, someone's going to sit down and say, we need to give Prince Charles some high-profile trips. We need to put him in a position where he looks like he is going to be taking over from the Queen. And all we've had this week is a situation, as far as the media is concerned, where it looks like Prince William is going to be taking over from the Queen.
Yeah, and I think this is the problem because, as I said, when you look at the kind of the statistics for last year, obviously Princess Anne was the busiest royal, and straight behind her was Prince Charles, where the Duke of Cambridge, I think he did about 117 engagements, which is significantly less than Prince Charles, who did 374. But as you said, it's what gets into the media. So you might Prince Charles might be doing all those hundreds of extras engagements, but Prince William maybe does less, but those are the ones that get into the media. And it's the sad fact that people are fascinated by the younger royals. We've just had the royal wedding of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. There's huge interest in what they're doing. What are they doing today? Are they opening something? Are they visiting somewhere? And that's just the sad reality with the media, I think.
And we've heard this as well, and I just wonder that, yes, I know they're fascinated with them, but look, there's a trip on the table to Israel and Palestine, and we've heard an argument this morning that it would have been the government that had requested that Prince William do this trip. But again, at a time when we need to see Charles visibly becoming, in the public's eyes, the successor to the Queen, isn't there a way that he could have been doing this trip? Surely someone could have said, actually, we should be doing this. This is a big. It's not like, it was just because he was a younger royal. It's because it was such a significant trip.
It is a significant trip. I mean, who made the decision? As you said, it's possibly the government. I don't obviously know what goes on there. But I think the interesting thing was last year they were saying that Prince William wasn't doing enough. And, he wasn't seen to be doing enough engagements, where suddenly we've got him doing this hugely historic, significant trip. That might be one of the reasons. Maybe it's to kind of say he does do engagements. This is obviously a highly important one. And it also shows that the trust that the Queen and his father have put in him to know that he can carry out that engagement. And it's I think this is the reality. He's a young royal that's having to kind of, one day he will also be king, and he's also got to show, like his father. And his father over the years has done many significant trips and things that will be required of him as one day he will be king. And I think all they're doing is just making sure that the next generation show that they're up to the job as well.
You worked in royal circles, clearly, as a butler. Do you think it upsets Charles? Do you think it upsets him when he hears people come on and say, actually, we don't want you to be king, we'd rather have your son be king? Does he really want it that badly, or do you think he's just proud that people would like his son to do the job?
I think it's a difficult one, because I think the reality is that anyone, if you're kind of being criticised for either not doing enough or doing too much, it is frustrating as to what he possibly feels about it. That's anyone's kind of guess. I think if it was me, I'd feel quite upset the fact that one minute you're getting told what a great job you're doing, and the next minute, oh, you're not doing a good job. But I think that's, again, the reality of being a royal, that, sadly, you, like anybody actually, not just royals, celebrities, you're always kind of up for the kind of interest as to what you're doing. Are you doing enough? If you do something wrong, God help you, because the media will obviously...
exactly, but does it really affect someone like Charles, who's had it all his life, or do they just shrug their shoulders and go, it's part of the job?
No, I think that the Queen, they see it as part of the job. I mean, as you just said, he's been doing it his whole life, and he's coming up for 70 this year. So I think it's easy to say that he's had quite a bit of experience. Now, I don't think it's something that's going to really bother him, because sadly, it kind of comes up every now and again, in fact, possibly every year.
But then isn't that part of the problem, that actually, if it did bother him more, maybe he would do more? And sometimes the public do like to feel that these people are really bothered. They actually want him to make the effort, potentially.
I agree, but I think, again, and I'm only going by what I read for last year, was the amount of engagements and things he's done. He is doing a huge amount.
We're just not hearing about it, are we?
No, that's the problem. We're not hearing about it, and it's only because the younger royals at this moment in time are of a huge interest, and it's really sad. It's really unfair, but that's the way it works.
Grant, thank you very much for talking to us this morning.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
We appreciate you coming on. Former Royal Butler there, Grant Harold, the author of the Royal Butler's Rule Book, giving us a little bit more of an insight into how the royals are thinking and what they think.